What's up, guys, and welcome back to episode 15 of Hustle and Heat podcast, where we bring the community together, one public official, one entrepreneur, and one business owner at a time. Today, I'd like to welcome a special guest, a nice guy. Everybody knows him around town. He is part of the Fellowship Christian Athletes, and he is also part of the Back Nine. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Tom Parker. Tom.
George, thanks for inviting me, man. Yeah, a lot of people don't call me a nice guy because I'm not from New Jersey or New York.
Yeah. Sometimes he's nice. Something you got, brown nose a little bit. But listen, tell us about yourself, man. Thank you for coming on. Tell us about what you do, who you are.
Dude, all you had to say was, hey, you want to come to Dubs. You didn't have to tell me anything about the podcast. I would have just showed up because, listen, to get the smell that I'm getting in here, bro, and then he's tantalizing me. About 20 minutes ago, he showed up with this key lime pie that they've made here fresh. And I'm sitting there going, when can I eat it? And as you can tell, he's already halfway done with his. He said, no, not until we start. So I'm going to take my first bite because I've been waiting on this for a while. Hold on. Oh, my gosh.
It's good, right?
It's so good.
So I hired a guy, moved here from Maryland. Good experience. He made this for us. My first time trying it today. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty damn good. I'm not a dessert guy.
He's got butter in the bottom. You can taste the butter coming out of the crust.
He made that crust himself. He made the
key
mixture
lime
himself.
wants your lips to kind of go,
Yeah, it's good.
It's good stuff.
So we're going to put that on the menu real soon. Shout out to Shiv. So tell us about yourself, Tom. What do you do? Tell us about Fellowship Christian Athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, again, thanks for letting me come and be a part of it. It has been a pleasure to be in this community for so long. It's pretty close to 16 years now.
16, that's a
that
good
I've
number.
been here in Charlotte County, and God's been just opening doors for us. I came in with another ministry years ago for about a dozen years, spent time with them, and God opened the door about 4 years ago for me to come on staff with Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And our goal, our mission is really to see the world transformed by Jesus Christ, right, through the influences of coaches and athletes. And then the goal would be to help them to meet Jesus and then get them plugged into our local churches. So, we actually right next to you guys here in Dubs and Northport is one of our local churches, the Northport campus for New Day. Pastor Rusty's a great pastor. He's actually been a huge influence in our Port Charlotte high school football team. He goes there with him and his staff every week. They've been going there for maybe 7 or 8 years now, and they pour into the lives of those kids. The really cool thing for us, about 4 years ago, when I started, Port Charlotte ended up coming to our first FCA football camp that we were a part of. And the really cool thing is that all those kids came, they learned about football, they got to spend time with their coaches, they really dominated on the field. But when they came back, they had 26 kids that had met Jesus, and Pastor Rusty and the other coaches that were there, Coach Ingman, they got to baptize those kids in front of their families. It was a really cool experience, and every year they've seen that happen after going to an FCA camp. So for us, we get to go alongside of the coaches, come alongside coaches, along the athletes, and really just share the gospel with kids, which is really what my heart and passion is. You mind if I read a verse?
Yeah, go ahead.
One of my favorite verses is found in 1 Thessalonians 2, and it says that we loved you so much that we shared with you not only the gospel, but our lives as well. And so when I hear that verse and when I think through that verse, I think, man, even though a lot of times we come alongside and we have great barbecue or we have great services or we do great events or whatever that stuff is, really the nutshell of what we do in our ministry is to spend lives alongside of our coaches and alongside of our athletes so that they can meet our best friend Jesus because of the way we live our lives. So that's what we do. Man, I'm super excited. We've got some really cool events coming up. Dude, we talked about this earlier, putting you on the spot. I'd love for Dubs to be one of our sponsors at our NFL tournament coming up. Bro, you get to hang out with NFL players.
We'll make it happen. Make it happen.
Yeah, the sponsorship started at $100,000.
How much?
I'm kidding.
Get him out of here right now. Security.
You always get the yes first, right?
Yeah.
No, they're $750 and up. So
no, we'll definitely be a sponsor, man.
But here's a really cool thing if you're not familiar. Like we get this cool opportunity. Like in this case, in April, we're bringing in these NFL. We're going to have 25 NFL players. We're talking to Quinn Ewers right now. Quinn Ewers, he's at Miami. He's a backup quarterback. Played out of Texas. We've got guys like Dave Wannstedt that came out last year. Many of you guys know many of the players from Tampa, and I just lost my mind on it. Help me out. Running back. Nope.
Irving.
Who?
Michael Irvin? No, not Irvin.
Michael Irving.
Is old as shit.
No, not.
What's his name?
Oh my! I got it right here.
No phones on the podcast, sir.
No, I'm just trying to get a name. Trying to get a name for you. Hold on. It is. Well, here I'll just throw some of the names out. Here's some of the guys that we've contacted and talked to. John Hall, great guy from this area, local kicker, played for the Jets.
He's still live in this area?
He does. He's actually coaching now at Port Charlotte High School.
Really?
Yeah. We've reached out to Danny Werfel again this year. Every year we reach out to Danny. Danny sends it off to his lady that helps him to take care of these things. One of these years we're going to get Danny here. Darren Perry, Dave Wannstedt came last year, David Marshall, Ernest Graham. That's what I was trying to think of. Ernest Graham is the guy from Tampa Bay. I think he was a running back. I'm 99% positive he was a running back. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize, Ernest. He did coach down here in Fort Myers a couple years back. I think now he's up in the Gainesville area and stuff like that. But we have Greg Lloyd. If you guys remember Greg Lloyd, he was at Pittsburgh, linebacker. He never wanted to mess with Greg Lloyd. Steve Avery was there. Jim Hart, Joe Oden, Kenny Shaw, Burton Lawless. You guys remember Burton Lawless? Burton Lawless played for the Dallas Cowboys, but before that,
that's why we don't remember him.
He was an All-American here at Charlotte High School.
Really?
Yeah, back in the maybe 60s, I think, or 70s. He was a high school phenom lineman, did great, went on to college, another All-American, and went on to play for the Dallas Cowboys. So pretty excited about that. He's got some life stuff going on right now, but we're hoping to get him apart, maybe even back this next year. I don't know if you remember. Oh, let me tell you about Buddy Curry. You guys know Buddy Curry? Buddy just moved into the area about a year ago. Buddy Curry played 12 years, I think it was, with the Atlanta Falcons as a linebacker. And you see him now, and you're like, oh, that's a really good, nice, awesome, loving guy. He wasn't so loving back then. I was talking to one of the NFL players, running backs, maybe about a month ago, and I said, hey, you know Buddy Curry? Oh, I don't want to talk about that guy. I'm like, different guy, I think, now. But, yeah, we got tons. There's tons of guys on there.
That's cool. Is there any way that the public can get involved, or is this just a private thing?
It's only for everybody. It's anybody who wants to become part of it. Yeah, it's October 17th and 18th. Friday night's a big draft party. We're doing it at the Back Nine,
birthday.
Which I love talking about the Back Nine. Back Nine's an incredible opportunity for us. My friend Chris Schwartz. My friend Chris Schultz. I was just talking about Donnie Schwartz earlier today playing golf. My friend Chris Schultz and I were sitting talking about what does a golf simulator look like in this area, and is it feasible to have another one, because there's another one in town, and we were trying to figure out, does it make sense to do it? And we pulled our retirements and we said, let's go after it. And so I know that it's probably the best from Naples to probably up to Tampa as far as a indoor golf facility finished product. It's a really great full swing. Is all the interior stuff. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And so for me to be able to be a part of that, I've always started ministries, and I've always done ministry for a long time and built things when there wasn't a lot there, and we built it up. And I've never invested in something that I've invested into first, if that makes sense. Like, I've invested time into things in ministry, but I've never said, hey, here's everything I own in my life. I'm going to open this up. So, yeah.
Chris, can you open the front door for me? That's pretty cool, man. So, Back Nine, put your retirement in there. What's your future goals with this place?
Well, hopefully by the end of this year, it is financially not only just stable, but making enough money to where Chris and I can look at spot number 2.
Okay, and where's your ideal spot number 2?
Well, if I tell you, somebody else might jump on it.
Well, tell us the city.
I'm just kidding. We actually are looking at the Venice area.
Yeah.
We are thinking, hey, what would that look like to have a Back Nine in Venice? So we've kind of already put our name out there for the back nine to say, hey, we want to be the ones that are contacted first if there's anybody showing interest, because we think that there could be another opportunity. Have one in Port Charlotte, have one in Venice, maybe one in Fort Myers and or in Sarasota. We want to get to 2 or 3, 4 locations within the next 5 years.
That's a good goal, man. That's a good goal, and I like how you're pushing the Lord through back nine, having these events and coaching up little kids. And
Yeah.
so what made you want to join fellowship and worry, put your time and your soul into these kids and build a better future for them?
It's a great question, and I'll be honest. I'm nothing more than the next Joe that comes around the corner, right? I just have a heart for athletes, and I love our coaches. And Billy Graham, I don't know if you're familiar with Billy Graham. Billy Graham was a great preacher that made a comment one time. He said, a coach will have more influence in 1 year than the average person will in their lifetime. A coach will have more influence in 1 year than the average person will in their entire lifetime. Basically meaning this is that a coach has 30 or 40 or football teams 70 or 80 players that are out there, and the way that they live their life, the influence that they have over those kids, they have over the other coaches that have over those kids. I mean, there's some great influence and impact. I mean, you ever play a sport, George?
Yeah, football.
Who'd you play for?
I played at Charlotte.
At Charlotte?
Yeah.
Winning season or non-winning season?
I was JV.
JV?
Yeah.
Same coach the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Coach Galley.
You ever play before Charlotte, like younger?
No. I played basketball and soccer.
Okay. You ever have a really great coach that you're like, I think of that person all the time?
Not really.
Never had one of those, huh?
I mean, high school, yeah. I liked my coach in high school, but when I was a kid, I don't think I paid that much attention to it.
Yeah.
I think with the soccer and stuff, you just
just went out and played?
Yeah.
How about this? You ever have a time where you remember a coach that you played for either yelling or getting mad or frustrated?
Yeah.
So do you remember who that coach? Don't say names, but do you remember who that coach was?
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of times,
don't say names.
Don't say names. I played fifth on that one. Here's the thing. If we think about it, go back through our childhood, we've had some really big influential people in our life that we would call a coach that you sit there and go, I don't know that I wanted my parents to have that person in my life. I remember a time probably about 6 years ago, my youngest son was playing for a flag team. And the first year I went and watched, and I'm sitting there going, I don't want my son subjected to his language. I don't want my son subjected to the way he talks to him. I'm going to coach my son's team from now on. And so a coach has so much more than just an impactful positive. They can have a negative impact on a kid as well. And so if me through FCA, if I have the opportunity to get alongside of these coaches and encourage and mentor and walk alongside them in this journey, because listen, it is probably one of the harder jobs outside of a referee in the sport program right now is to be a coach, because you're not just dealing with the students anymore. You're dealing with every parent, and every parent looks at their kid and says, well, my kid's the best kid on the team, or my kid should be starting, or my kid should have more time. And because of that mentality in our culture, because we've given these awards out for just participating over the years, many people have a false sense of who their kid is and their accuracy of their talent. And so these coaches who are giving of their time, and most coaches are not paid. I don't even know if you know that or not. You look at the average high school football team, not necessarily all of them, but average high school, you're going to have a head paid coach, maybe an offensive coach and a defensive coach for a football team. Those are the only 3 coaches that are usually paid. The rest of the coaches aren't stipend. They're not given anything. They're all volunteers. So if you go out to a Friday night game and you see 10 coaches on the sideline, probably 3 are paid, 7 are volunteer. And when you're the volunteer coach and the parent up in the stands is yelling names at you because their son's not playing, it's not always the most fulfilling job.
No.
And so we get to come alongside these coaches and say, hey, can we encourage you? Can we help you? Can we bring snacks? Can we bring time? Can we come by and just talk about some character things? Because a lot of people go, I don't want the Bible to talk to my kid. Well, what about where it says, hey, do not lie? Do you want your kids to be taught that? In Colossians 3:9, we don't have to mention Colossians 3:9, but we can say, hey, there's a really great proverb or a really great thought. Hey, we don't want to lie to one another. Or what about if it says something about, hey, you shouldn't murder each other? You want your kids to be taught that? A lot of times people say, I don't want the Bible. Listen, the Bible's got great stuff. Even if you go, I'm not sure that I believe in that. Okay. But there's some really great tools in it that people would go, yeah, I don't think we should lie. We shouldn't cheat. We shouldn't steal. We shouldn't kill people. Awesome. Can I come alongside of your team and talk about really good moral and characteristics? And most times parents are okay with that. But if we can come alongside of a coach and encourage them and give them some opportunities for us to pour into their team to say, hey, we want to help make you healthier. We want to help make you think more clear and understand, like for the coach to say, hey, it's not about you, George. You're not the best goalie in the world. That coach probably will get fired the next week, right? Because the parents are going to say something. But I could come in and say, hey, guys, it's not about you. It's about the team. It's about us working together. And so I might get the same message across without the coach getting more fire on the backside. No. But that's what we get to do. We get to come alongside that. And so from my heart, why I came on with FCA, first and foremost, it's because I want every student, every athlete, and every person in the world to meet my best friend, Jesus. I mean, I wish that everybody understood who he was, because I think that the most American churches have a rap for people coming in and saying, well, the church just wants me to give or they want me to change. And I'll be honest, I don't have the power to make you give, and I don't have the power to make you change. But I do know the Savior of the world that came and died on a cross so he could have a relationship with us. And so for me, man, I just want all my friends to meet my best friend Jesus, because in having that relationship, he will not leave us the same person that we started out, because he has a much better life for us. John tells us that he says, I've come to give you life and life to its full. I mean, who wouldn't want to experience life in its full the way that it was created at the very beginning for us to have? And a lot of times we kind of supplement that with, well, I'm going to drink this, or I'm going to go eat that, or I'm going to, granted, I got a little bit too much eating. I got to finish this thing too.
Beer belly over here.
But, we try to fill our needs with things that aren't really going to give us the best life. It may give us a good life. We may enjoy our life, and there may be times that we go, hey, that was fun, man, I love that. But there's an emptiness, because the only thing that's ever going to fill the need that I believe the Bible is very clear about is Jesus. So that's my first and foremost why I started with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, is to make sure everybody meets my best friend Jesus, or has the opportunity. But secondly, man, who wouldn't want to be around sports?
Yep.
Who wouldn't want to go play with NFL players? Who wouldn't want to go to a Rays game and watch them throw pitches, and then all of a sudden hear that same pitcher share their faith about who God is? Who wouldn't want to go to a football game at the high school and cheer on the local high school team that went all the way to the Final Four last year? Who wouldn't want to, like in DeSoto, the girls just lost. They went to the Final Four in basketball. Who wouldn't want to watch kids achieve greatness and be along that journey with them? So that's why I get to do FCA.
So let's do this. I'm a Christian man. I was raised Christian. I was raised Orthodox Christian. Let's say I wasn't. Tell me about Jesus.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity. I would probably start off with something like this. Hey, George, the Bible talks about my best friend Jesus. It tells me that at the very beginning, that God created all things. We read in Genesis chapter 1, it says that in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth was without, with void, and it talks about all these things, and it talks about the Spirit of God. And all of a sudden, we read through this Old Testament, and then we get to the New Testament, and we hear about this Jesus, and we're like, well, where did that come from? Well, it came because in Genesis 1 and 2, it talked about how God created everything, and then in Genesis chapter 3, it talks about how man chose himself, right? And I think that's the deal, is that you and I think we understand what it means to be selfish, right? Like, I want to eat more of this pie while we're talking. But
I've been eating it all day.
You're almost done, yeah. And so for me, I want to do what makes me feel good. And so in Genesis chapter 3, Adam and Eve, God gave Adam and Eve everything. He said, hey, everything's yours except for this one tree. Well, when God created them in his image, he also gave them free will, because God didn't want a bunch of robots. He didn't want us to go, well, I'm going to worship you because you told me to. He goes, I want you to worship me because of who I am. And I'm a God that loves you and cares for you and wants the best for you, but I want you to choose me. And so in Genesis chapter 3, man chose himself. And from that point, sin entered the world, the Bible talks about. And sin is just us choosing us over God. And we create a distance between us and God, kind of a chasm. And so now we've got this distance that we can't cover. And God says, listen, you've broken the relationship. I'm going to send my son to fix that relationship. And so we read over in John chapter 1, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and all things were created by and through him, and without him nothing was made. And then we go, wait a second. If nothing was made without Jesus, that means he must have been in Genesis chapter 1 and 2. So you have God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit in the very beginning that created everything. And so Jesus isn't a new thought. Jesus has always been the thought. He's always been a part of God. And so just wasn't in human form yet. And so we see that in John chapter 1, verse 14, it says, and the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Another version of the Bible, I think it's the New Living, says that God put on a human suit and moved into the neighborhood. So God came down from heaven in a human form, 100% human and 100% man, so that he could live here on earth and experience, and not experience the sin, but experience life, breathing and walking and sweat and, working. I mean, he was a carpenter. And so he had worked with his hands with his father. And so he went through all this process of being here on earth. And then the last 3 years of his life was his mission. Last 3 years of his life, he went out and started. We look in the New Testament and the books of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and we'll start seeing miracle after miracle of what Jesus did. Matter of fact, in the book of John, at the end, it says that if all of the miracles that Jesus did for the 3 years that he was doing ministry were recorded, there's not a big enough library in this world that could hold all the things written down. He was healing and touching and walking alongside people and giving the blind sight and the lame to walk. And he was giving lepers who were dying of their skin falling off. He was completely healing them back. I mean, just things that you and I in America, we look at and go, oh, that person that has cancer, they can't live. And if Jesus was there, Jesus would come alongside and said, you are healed. It was crazy, the things that they saw during that time when Jesus was doing ministry in those 3 years. I mean, think about it. The people that followed Jesus, they gave their lives not for a lie, but for a truth that Jesus is really God and that he really was the Messiah. I don't know if you've ever been to Israel. One time. I love Israel. Been there. It's my third trip I've gone on so far. I waited and wanted. I was like, man, I really want to be out there and be a part of seeing what Israel is. And long story short, I finally got to experience it, and I wanted to say, what does it look like in the Bible? What's taking place of all these things that Jesus was doing during this time? And the Bible just popped off, bro. All this stuff that Jesus was doing during that time, it popped off Scripture now. So when I see that he went by the pool of Bethesda, and that the man was laying there for 38 years, and he was lame and couldn't move, and he was waiting for people to push him in the water because he believed when the water was stirred that it would heal him. He was willing to give his life because, honestly, if 3 people pushed a lame person, an invalid, into the water, he would die. And so people were willing to die for what they believed would heal them, when all of the whole time Jesus was standing right there and says, do you want to be healed to him? I think he does the same thing to us, George. We see this Jesus that did miracles in the New Testament, and we go,
He's healed me one time.
What's that?
He's healed me one time.
Really? I'd love to hear that story sometime for sure.
Yeah.
I think that to wrap up that question is this, that if somebody wants something more out of this life than what they have, because I don't believe that there's ever an opportunity for someone to feel completely fulfilled in this life, are completely whole in this life without Jesus.
I feel the same, and I feel like that's why a lot of people battle with like anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
It's because they're taking the easy way out with all these distractions in the world instead of just listening to what their soul wants and needs, and their soul wants and needs Jesus.
Needs.
Yeah.
He's like breath. I mean, think about that. He created breath. He's the breath of life. You and I have been breathing the entire time we've been on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We need him like we need our air.
100%. And the more I pray and the more I like really focus on the religion, the more at peace my mind is, no matter what noise is going on in my life.
And there's a lot of noise.
There's a lot of noise, a lot of stress, and but at the end of the day, I just sit there. I'm like, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna work out. This is just God's plan.
And sometimes it's not the plan that we want.
No,
right?
But it's always a good plan, because at the end of the day, when the plan is all said and done, we're thankful for it.
Yeah.
No matter how much hell we go through.
And James talks about that. He says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you are faced with trials of many kinds," right? Because it brings upon maturity or perseverance. And I think sometimes in the American church, we sit there and we go, I don't want to go through this. And then you have somebody say, well, you don't have to go through it. Just you're in a good place. Good blessings are coming. And I don't read that in here all the time. A lot of time I read this, hey, if you love me, others will persecute you. Hey, if you follow me, you're going to be hated in this life. Jesus tells us, hey, listen, this life that you and I are living and breathing right now, this back nine and dubs, all the things that we create here and we do and we have great life with, in a nutshell, Paul talks about those. He uses the word dung. It's like crap. Everything that we've done on this earth outside of Jesus means nothing, because our life here on this earth, it is nothing without him, and without us sharing him and telling others about him so that they can have a relationship with him, because this life is not anything. It's just to prepare us. I've been telling students for 40 years, we have two reasons that we're on this earth. One, so that we meet Jesus to be our Lord and Savior. Secondly, so that we have the opportunity to tell our friends about him and our family. And if we've missed either of those two, I think we've missed why we're here. Because I think we have to have that relationship first.
100%. So let me ask you this. I see a lot of times in life, you see people grow up religious and something traumatizing or something weird happens, or they go to church and they don't like the people at church because they feel like they're being judged. They feel like this, that, the other, and they lose their faith, or they get maybe not lose their faith, but they just get discouraged, right? I've seen that in many people, and I've never been to a church that has made me feel discouraged. I've always been to churches that, I'm Orthodox. I go to old school churches, man, It's what it is. I don't don't get me wrong, I don't hate on churches, but that's what I'm more comfortable with, more than the new school, just because I feel like I've always been an old soul, and I like the choir, I like the chants, and I like the real prayer and stuff like that. And how do you guide these people who have been distanced from the religion or distant from going to church back into believing again, or being more active? Maybe they haven't stopped believing, but they've been so discouraged for years and years that they haven't taken that initiative to go back to church.
Yeah. You ever had somebody, a regular that's here, ever have a day where they felt like maybe it wasn't their best meal?
Yeah.
Did they ever stop coming and never come back? Or do they come back?
It just depends on how mature they are.
I think in the church, because it's people, it's easy for us to get offended, frustrated, upset because of people. But don't let people rob you of a really great God. Same thing with a really great meal, right? People are going to come here because you have really great food. And there may be a day that maybe the chef's had a really off day. Yeah, and he sends something out that's maybe a little burnt or a little bit not to your desire, and you go, I'm done. I'm never coming eating barbecue again in my life because I've had a bad one. I'm done with it. People don't say that. Here's what they do. We had a bad experience, but let's go give it another shot. But in the church, people use that as an excuse often to go, hey, I've had a bad experience. that person was mean to me, that person was rude to me, I didn't like the way they looked at me, that song was too loud for me, or the pastor just, he didn't come visit me today. And so they go, I'm done with God. There's a difference, I believe, in our culture. I think we need to first tell people, hey, if you've been authentically hurt through the church, don't leave God because of a person. But if you've just been offended, because we get offended easily in the United States, if you've just been offended, would you give God, don't give up on him, give God an opportunity. So
I agree with you, and I feel like it's just like I said earlier, it's easy ways out, and I don't think that any one person should rob you of that. I mean, dude, Christianity is the most beautiful thing in the world to me. You know, you love your neighbors, love your family, you know, you forgive people. I feel like that's what life is about.
And that's probably where it starts, isn't it?
Yeah.
The forgiveness. I have a lot of people that tell me, hey, I'll never talk to that person again. Why? Well, because they offended me. Well, have you forgiven them? They didn't ask me to. No. The Bible doesn't tell you to wait for somebody to forgive
and you
to ask
forget.
forgiveness. You forgive first.
Without asking.
Yeah.
Without being asked, because, you know, I don't know, the way, like, I was raised, the way, like, my mom knows the Bible backwards, sideways, forward, like, she knows every verse in there, and she's always preached to me about Christ and religion, and you forgive without even being asked, because if you don't forgive, what's the point? What's the point of holding on to that grudge for the rest of your life, you know? There's no point. It's only negative energy, and we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to bother each other. We're all going to upset one another, but who cares? Yeah. That's just life. I've probably upset many people in my life, but did I mean ill? No. A lot of people probably upset me. Did they mean ill? No. Yeah. So there's no reason not to forgive people, you know?
Yeah. And the ultimate forgiveness is that Jesus forgave us for the junk that we'd done in our life,
100%.
Our sin. And he said, I want life with you, and I'm going to give and pay the price for you. And all we've got to do is receive that. And so that's that. If you want to, how do you tell someone? You just tell them that Jesus has already paid the price for our junk, and he just wants the relationship. He's done the work.
Yeah.
And now it's us surrendering our life to him.
Yeah. And it's funny, sometimes when my mom tells me, she's like, you know, when you distance yourself from the Lord, your life gets harder and harder. But maybe it's just getting harder and harder because Christ wants you to come back to him.
I think I think God does use opportunities around us. People say, well, why do bad things happen to good people? I don't think God causes bad things to happen to good people. I think God allows things that has happened to draw us back to him, because, you know, I used to have a kid ask me, why did my grandmother got hit by a drunk driver and she died? Why did God do that? And I said, God didn't do that. I said, the drunk driver went out and got drunk. Drunk driver got in a car, and the drunk driver drove. Shouldn't have done those things. That was his sin. That was his junk. Your grandmother happened to be a part of the incident that God ended up allowing, right? And that still hurts going, well, why God allow that? God allowed it, but God didn't make it happen. God didn't cause the drunk driver to go out and sin. And I think in our world, we sometimes give God way too much credit for bad things that happen around us and go, oh, you know, everything happens for a reason. God must have wanted Aunt Sally to whatever fall off the building. No, that wasn't God's plan. God may have used that, but it wasn't God going, I'm going to set this up, have her step here. We have a great God, a loving God, a caring God, but also a just God. And he wants each one of us to have a relationship with him. And because of that, he'll use all the circumstances in the world to bring us back to him.
I agree. That's a good point.
Well, brother, I thank you so much for letting me be on here today. And I'd love to come back sometime and talk a little bit more about my best friend, Jesus. And we could talk golf too, man. I've seen your swing. I'd love to get you over to the back nine and hit some balls.
You say you need some work, kid.
That's why I brought a PGA guy with me.
Yeah. Well, Tom, it was a pleasure having you on, man. Is there one last message you want to get out to people about your best friend, Jesus?
Hey, listen, if you've never experienced an opportunity to meet my best friend, Jesus, I'm not telling you to go to church. I'm asking you to pick this up and open up to the book of John. And in the beginning, it'll talk about, in the book of John, it talks about, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Just know that W-O-R-D right there is Jesus. In the beginning was Jesus, and Jesus was with God. And just keep reading. And if you have questions, reach out to George, reach out to myself, reach out to Christian. Man, we would love to have an opportunity to share with you more of who our best friend is. Thanks, guys.
Well, thank you, Tom, and thank you to all. If you guys like this, please comment, like, and subscribe for more. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on episode 16. Thank you.